Okay, we are learning the Gemara in Sanhedrin Daf page Ayin Ches Amid Beis 78-2 on the bottom of the Mishnah. Okay. The Mishnah goes like this. Someone had intention to kill an animal. Throw a rock at it, let's say. But we're not talking about slaughtering for eating. And v'harages ha'adam, and instead of killing the animal as his intention was, he kills a person. Means he doesn't hit his target. And Rashi says that what are we talking about? We're going to learn the Gemara according to Rashi, because there's other commentaries who understand the Gemara a little differently. But we're going to go according to Rashi. So the Gemara says, according to Rashi, that what is the scenario? Because the problem is that if there's in the problem, the thing is that if there's how you doing, Howard? If the person didn't have warning, so then you don't need the Mishnah to tell us that he's not considered obligated. How you doing, Howard? Because it's the way it is. I mean, you need to be warned. So Rashi says like this. It gives us the scenario. If a person is standing next to a animal, and so there's a person standing next to the animal, and you want to kill the animal, and you kill the person instead that was standing near the animal. So Rashi explains the Mishnah Potter, then you're not considered you don't get killed, so to say, by the Bezdin. It's not something you're allowed to do, but you're not considered obligated as far as the death penalty goes from Bezdin. Why? So Rashi explains, Mishum dechi asrubei hasra safeku, means the people standing there, witnesses standing by, said to this person, listen, you're aiming at the animal. There's a person standing there, you're going to kill the person, or you're possibly going to kill the person. So we're on page 8, when they're just starting the Mishnah in the bottom of age Ayin Ches Amid Beis. So the person the Rashi says a person standing next to the animal, even though you're aiming at the animal, you're trying to hit the animal, the witnesses warn you and say you're possibly going to hurt the person. However, Rashi says the chiddush of the Mishnah is that's considered a hasra safek, even though he had warning not to kill this person, and he killed the person. So seemingly he should be considered chayiv, that he's considered obligated for killing the person. But the warning was a doubtful warning, because we didn't know for sure. He was definitely not aiming for the person, right? So afal pi shekiba love astra, and he accepts it. The person says, "Don't, you're going to kill the person." He says, "I know what you're saying." Sharim balem, he means the murderer, the person who kills, says, "Yadani shu bembris." I know that there's a person standing there. And not only that, Rashi says even further. The person says, I know that if I'm going to miss the animal and kill the person, I'm going to be considered chayiv. I'm going to be considered responsible for killing this person. Potter, nevertheless, the Mishnah says he's not considered chayiv. He's not considered responsible. The Shema lo yahargenu, because there's no certainty that he's going to kill him. He wasn't aiming at the person. Okay, so this is what the Mishnah is coming to teach us. Again, the skavin l'hargas behema, he meant to kill the animal. L'hargas adam, he kills the person. And again, Rashi says the person standing there, and he was warned, and he acknowledged the warning, and not only that, accepted that if I kill the person, I'll be considered obligated by the bezdin, and then he misses the animal and hits the person. But nevertheless, he's potter because the warning was a doubtful warning because he wasn't aiming for the person. Niskavin l'hakoisei al masnav. You want to hit a person on their lap, by their private parts. But the strike wasn't a kind of strike that had the power that could kill the person had he struck him where he intended to in his private parts. Amasnav. But he doesn't hit where he's aiming, and he hits the person on his heart. And he had enough strength. It wasn't like he tapped him on the heart. If he would have intended to hit him in the heart and he had enough strength to hit him in the heart, he would have died. It was a strike that could kill him if it hits the heart, and it did hit the heart. But he wasn't intending to hit the heart. He was intending to hit the private parts, and in that strike, there wasn't enough to kill the person. So what's the law in such a situation? umeis, and the person dies from the strike that was hit on the heart. Again, the Mishnah says pater. So what is the pattern we're learning over here? That you're warned, according to Rashi, again, we're going to go according to Rashi. You're warned, you acknowledge that if you do hit the wrong spot, that you're going to kill the person. But you're not meaning to hit that spot. So you're not meaning to hit the person, you're meaning to hit the animal. Niskaven, what about another case? Niskaven hakoise aliboy. You're aiming for the heart. Turning the page to 89.2. And you were aiming for the heart, and you had enough strength that if you would hit the heart, you would kill the person. And that's what you're aiming for. And however you struck the person, it went on the person's private parts. And the strike wasn't strong enough to kill that person in his privates or in his lap. But nevertheless, he dies. So here the case is your intention was to kill the person. Your intention was to kill the person by striking that person in the heart. You missed the heart and you hit the lap, but you didn't have enough strength. The strength was not typically the kind of strength that would kill someone if you would hit them in the lap, even though it's seemingly like a contradiction. And nevertheless he dies. So this is even more. You intended to kill, you did kill, but you just didn't hit where you wanted to hit. And the place that you hit wasn't a strike that typically should kill a person. Again, the Mishnah says, and even in such a case, you're pater. That's even if that's a bigger chiddush, more unique. Niskaven hakois es agadol. You mean to hit a big person. But the strike would have not killed a large person, meaning an adult. And you by mistake missed the adult, the larger person, and you hit the smaller person. Umeis, and and the strike was a kind of strike that was strong enough to kill a small person, right? A small person would it doesn't need as strong as a blow. So you were meant to hit a larger person, but your intention was not to kill him because it wasn't a strike that would kill him. But it was a strike that would have killed a young person or small person, and it did kill the small person. What's the law in such a case? Pater osa pater. Okay. Niskaven lahakis sakotet. You meant to kill a small person, a child, let's say, God forbid. And you had the strength to kill that person. Means the blow was strong enough to kill that person. And by mistake you hit a larger person. But the strike was not strong enough to typically kill a larger person. But nevertheless the larger person dies. Also pater, you're not considered obligated. Again, what the Mishnah is coming to teach us is that in these cases, that even though there's warning, that if you miss and all that stuff, but there has to be two things. There has to be intention to kill this person, and it has to be enough that the blow that you were hitting is enough to kill that person, and the intention was a blow to kill. Means the strike itself has to be a strike that was intended to kill. Okay, so here you wanted to kill you wanted to kill a larger person, and you wanted to hit a larger person, but didn't have the strength. Now that's all the cases that you're pater, that the Bezdin will not consider you obligated. Obviously, it's not allowed, and all that. We're talking about if you get killed by the Bezdin for murder, if you're considered a first degree murder. But let's say you meant to hit the person in their privates, and had you struck in the person's privates, he would have died, or she would have died. And you missed your intended target, means you don't hit that, you hit the heart. Umeis, and he died. So here, the strike was meant to hit a place that can kill someone, and it had the power to kill someone. So everything was there. The only thing is you missed, and you hit the heart, and the person died. And the heart is more weaker than the privates, and therefore the person, it surely had enough of a blow to hit the heart. The only thing is you missed the actual location. Then chayiv. Then the Torah says that the Mishnah says you're considered a murderer, and the Bezdin holds you obligated. Niskaven lahakais is a gadol. Let's say you meant to hit an adult. The blow was strong enough that had you hit the adult would die. But you missed the adult and you hit the child. Umeis also chayiv. Because why? Here it has both things. You meant to kill, it had the strength to kill, and you did kill. The only thing is you killed something weaker or something, or you hit another spot. But there's the only thing that's missing here is the location or the person. But everything else, as far as intention goes, everything is there. Your intention was to kill, and you did kill. You just either didn't kill the right person, or you didn't kill, or you didn't kill or you didn't kill the what's it called? You didn't kill the. I think I missed out. Hold on a second. I think for some reason I skipped a part of the Mishnah. Hold on. Yes, for some reason I skipped a part in the beginning. It says first one was to kill an animal and you missed the animal and you hit the person. So killing an animal, you don't get killed for killing an animal. It's not a case of murder. The second case I missed that was you meant to kill you went to hit a strike a idol worshiper, which according to Torah you don't get killed for killing an idol worshiper, and you end up killing a Jew. Also, you're not considered obligated because it's not an act of murder. You intended to kill a nephilim. Sorry for missing this out, and I skipped the line. You meant to kill a fetus that is not going to live. So you struck you're meant to hit something that's not really alive because it's a nephil, something that is a fetus that's going to die. Baharkis bakayam, and you kill a live person, also pater. Okay, so these are all the cases again where there's missing something in the intention. Something's not complete. But if you wanted to do an act of murder, a proper act of murder, and the only thing is that you missed, everything is there, just that you missed the target or you missed the person. So the Mishnah says then you're chayiv. Now Reb Shimon argues. Reb Shimon Aimer, afilu niskav l'harakasev v'harakasev pater. Reb Shimon disagrees, and he says that it's not. He goes even more so that even if you meant to kill one person and you had the strength to kill that person, all that, but you don't hit that person, you don't hit your target, you hit another person. So even in that case, you are not considered obligated because you didn't intend to kill that person, even though the intention to kill was there and the strength to kill was there, and the blow was a blow that would kill and should have killed and was meant to kill, but you didn't kill the person that you meant to kill. So then that's not considered part. Now the question the Gemara is now going to ask is, what is Reb Shimon arguing on? Because there's many cases in the Mishnah. So what case is he arguing on? That we'll see the Gemara. I just want to say, for instance, the first Rashi in the top of page 79a, he says that if you hit the heart and there's enough strength to hit the heart, if you took a stone and threw it at the heart, that the kind of stone and the strength and the strike had enough power to kill the person. But if it would hit the lap of the person, it's not strong enough to kill the person. Potter. Because you need, here Rashi explains what the problem is. You need both things. It has to be a strike that's meant to kill. That's called makas misa, strike to kill. Maka means to hit, misa it's to kill. Makas misa, and it should be in the place that's meant to kill. The makas misa asra safiki. The thing is that even though the strike itself could have killed, but you didn't mean to hit it in that place, and therefore the chiddush is, and this is all according to Rashi, that the warning is a doubtful warning, because if he would hit it in the lap where he was intending to, the strike wasn't strong enough to kill. So the witness said, "Be careful! You're going to hit the person in the heart, and he's going to die." He said, "I know if I hit the person in the heart, he's going to die, but I don't mean to hit the person in the heart." So therefore, it's all considered, the basis of the Gemara, according to Rashi, is it's all considered the warning is not certain, because in order for this person, the murderer, he or she, to do it, it has to be that he hits that he's not intending to that spot. So we don't know if he's going to hit there. We're just warning that if you do hit there, you're going to kill the person. So therefore, the warning is a doubtful warning. Okay, let's do the Gemara. Reb Shimon Ahai, what is Reb Shimon referring to? Means what is Reb Shimon arguing with the Mishnah? He says that even if you meant to kill one person and you kill another person, so then it's considered, you're not considered chayiv. Means it has the strength to kill a person, you do kill a person. So the Gemara says, who's Reb Shimon, what case is Reb Shimon referring to? Ile Maseifa, if you want to say that it's talking about the later part of the Mishnah that says that if you meant to kill a large person and it had the strength to kill a large person, and you kill a small person, meaning a child, let's say, and there the Mishnah says that you have all the components. You mean to kill someone, and it has the strength to kill someone, and you do kill someone. So there's no doubtful warning. Everything happened, but you didn't kill the person you're looking to kill. So what happens in such a case? So our Mishnah says that you're chayiv, and Reb Shimon says maybe Reb Shimon's coming to argue that. So Reb Shimon potter mibayle. So it shouldn't say that the wording of the Mishnah isn't right. The Mishnah should have said that you're chayiv, and Reb Shimon should say you're potter. The Mishnah's wording is afilu niskav in laharagesev potter. He's adding something. What is he adding? Ela Reishi, he's coming to argue with the beginning of the Mishnah. That niskav in laharagesev behema v'haragesev adam. That if you meant to kill a animal and you kill a person, the goy for akum, you meant to kill a avodas kachavim, an idol worshiper, and you kill a Jew. The nefiyim, and you meant to kill a fetus and you kill a live child. So the Amish says you're potter. So what do we see from here? That the only reason why in these cases, in the beginning of the Mishnah, that's not talking about a young person and an older person. It's talking about a idol worshiper or a person or a Jew or a animal and a person or a live person or a fetus that's about to die. So in all those cases, if the person that you were intending to kill wasn't a person that you'd be obligated, you wouldn't be chayiv for killing that person. So had your intention been carried out, that wouldn't be considered murder according to Torah. So from there we see, but if you just meant to kill A and you kill B, not talking about large or small, just A and B, two people standing there, you're aiming at A and you kill B, so then you would be chayiv according to the Mishnah. Reb Shimon comes to say that he's arguing that if you meant to kill one adult, you kill another adult, not that it's an adult and a child, but even an adult and an adult. In such a case, potter. So the Gemara says, Pshita, one thing is simple. That im koi, that means like this. If Reuven and Shimon are standing in front of a person, right? So Reuven and Shimon, let's say we have a case where Reuven and Shimon are standing in front of the murderer or the person who's looking to kill someone. V'amar, and the person who's the murderer says, another Reuven become a kavna. I want to kill. I'm aiming at Reuven. The Shimon loy mekavna, and I'm definitely not looking to kill Shimon. So hainu pluktusayu. So that's simple. That there's an argument that Reb Shimon, that the Mishnah would say you're chayiv, means the Tanakh the Mishnah would say you're chayiv, and Reb Shimon would say you're potter. But what about in a case, Omar, he says, so in that case where a person says clearly, I'm meaning to kill Reuven, and I'm not meaning to kill Shimon at all. Even though both of them are, if you kill either of them, you'd go to Bezdin and be killed. And both of them are adults, and both of them have the same blow, could kill either of them. But you're just saying clearly, I'm only looking to kill Reuven, we're just giving an example as a name, and I'm not looking to kill Shimon. And you hit Shimon by mistake, whatever. So then there the Mishnah that means the Tanakama, the rabbis of the Mishnah would say, well, you intended to murder, you did murder, you were warned about murder, everything is there. The hit was a hit that could murder someone, and therefore you're considered a murderer and you get killed by Bezdin. Reb Shimon says no, because you were clearly not aiming at Shimon. You said that before. What about Omar? According to Reb Shimon, the question is, what is if he says Lachad minayu? I'm looking to kill one of you. He doesn't say who. I'm looking to kill either Reuven or Shimon. I'm not going to say who. What about in such a case? Would Reb Shimon say in such a case that because he hasn't clarified his intention? So I mean, basically, what the Gemara is trying to figure out is what is the reasoning of Reb Shimon? Is the reasoning of Reb Shimon that his intention wasn't that he had a clear intention and that didn't happen? He meant to kill A and he killed B, or is the reasoning of Reb Shimon, so meaning to say, so in that case, I meant to kill A, and I didn't kill A, I killed B. Or the idea is is that there's no clarity on the person's intention. It means it's a lack of, we need it to be everything clear. That it's not that you clearly say, I'm not looking to kill this person, and by mistake you kill that person. So then you clearly went against his intention, but the intention has to be clear who you want to kill. So in a case where the person says, I don't care to kill either of you, I want to kill someone, I'm going to kill, we're talking about obviously, not going into the psychic of the person, but trying to figure out the law. So if a person says, I'm going to kill one of you, but doesn't say who that person is, so in that case, the question is, you never clearly indicated, or you don't even have in yourself an indication of who you intend to kill. You have no intention here on a specific person. So in that case, does Reb Shimon hold that it's considered murder because you didn't not do what you wanted, but you never had a clear intention for anything, any specific person? Or do we say, no, there's no clear intention, and therefore it's not considered murder? So the Gemara says, Inami, another question that we said, according to Reb Shimon, what happens? He says, I want to kill Reuven. And he thinks that it's Reuven. But into Shimon, then he finds out it's Shimon. It means, let's say they're twins, right? People are identical twins, hypothetically. They say, I want to kill and the twins' names are Reuven and Shimon. And he says, I'm going to murder Reuven. And he kills that person. And then it turns out that it's not Reuven, it's Shimon, it's his brother, it's his twin brother. So in this case, again, he said an intention, and it just turned out that it wasn't that he meant, he looked at, it means the body of the person is who he wanted to kill. He said, this person, he pointed a figure, I'm going to kill this person, and his name is Reuven. And it turned out his name was Shimon, he was a different person. But he had intention for the body, he just didn't know who that body was. What's in such a case? The Tashma, the Gemara says, let's come in here. We're going to try to figure this out from another ruling that Reb Shimon says that would maybe give light about these two cases. One is that you're not clear who you intend to kill, or you think the person you're killing, his name is so-and-so, and it really turns out to be another person. So Tanya, we learned, the Mishnah teaches us, Reb Shimon says, that Reb Shimon says the only time the person is considered a murderer that gets killed by the Bezdin is when the person says that this person I mean to kill, and this is the person you killed. Anytime it's lacking that clarity, when it says I want to kill A, and it is A, and he kills A, or she kills A, murderer could be man or woman, obviously. Anything outside of that, it's not considered a clarity. The intention is not considered to have been completed, and therefore Reb Shimon is of the opinion that that's not considered a murderer again that would be killed by the Bezdin. Not going into what would happen to the person after that. My time to Reb Shimon. So Reb Shimon. So now we're going to go into the reasoning. Reb Shimon can't just have an idea without saying a reason. So the Gemara says, my time to Reb Shimon. What's the reasoning of Reb Shimon? So we're going to quote a verse. The verse is like this. The verse is in the Devarim. Okay, so the verse says like this. The Torah testifies that if a person hates another person, we're talking about that you hate a person, but and it says you came upon the person and you killed him, and now he runs to the city of refuge until he gets tried. Okay, so from here he says, the Reb Shimon says that why does the verse have to say but Arav loy become alav, that he, I'm just going to bring the verse up. He says, hold on, the verse brings down. But a whole bunch of cases here. Give me a second. The verse is like this. But if there will be a man who hates his neighbor and he lies in wait for him and rises up against him, means he waits out to kill him. But Arav loy become alav, he waits for him and he kills him. So the Mishnah goes and adds, then the Torah says that he's considered a murderer. So Reb Shimon says, why does he have to say that he waits for him and he kills him? Why does the pasuk have to add all these words? It should have just said, and he kills him. You hate a person and you kill him. So the fact that the Torah says that he's waiting for him and he's staking him out and all that means to say that he has to kill the person that he was really intending to kill. Until you have intention for him. Therefore, the verse is coming to be clear that the only time it's considered murder that's punishable by death is if you had a plan on a person, a strategy, and you kill that person. But if you say, I just want to kill someone, not anyone. Or if I meant to kill A and I found out it's B, Reb Shimon says that's not a case of a mazid that gets killed by the Bezdin. So now the Gemara says, what about the rab? What are the rabbis going to do with that verse? Because Reb Shimon is right. The verse seems to be adding a lot of words to talk to us and tell us that it has to be really intentional for murder. So what are the rabbis going to do with Va'arav Loi? And then he stakes him out for Kamalav and he jumps on him to kill him. So Omer Devei Rabbi Yana, the yeshiva of Rabbi Yana explained as such, that it's coming to exclude not a case where you meant to kill someone, but you don't know you didn't decide which one of the two, or if you thought his name was Reuben, his name was Shimon, he was his twin brother, etc. So Rabbi Yana says it's coming to exclude a case, Prat L'Zarik Evin L'Goy. You're talking about a person where you don't say I'm meaning to kill someone, you just shoot. Let's say today you would say you shoot in an open crowd, or you throw a stone in an open crowd. Well, you don't. There's no one. It's not like you say I'm meaning to kill one of the two, or his name is Reuben. I think his name is Shimon. In those cases, that's considered murder. But if you just throw a stone, let's say a person were to stand over a crowd and just drop a huge stone, and the stone goes and falls on a group of people and kills them. Okay, this is the laws of murder. This is what we're studying, and he kills someone. So here it was just a group of people. It wasn't like you said he or she, two people, or this person intention. You just throw it into a crowd. So in that case, it's not considered punishable by death. It means that according to Torah, we're not talking about it. I mean, these today, unfortunately, with all the school killings and all what's going on, I don't know how that would be. I don't know how that would fall in, because they're looking to kill a lot of people and they're just going into school and killing these kids, which is crazy. But maybe that's the case that the Gemara is referring to. But here he says they just throw a stone into a crowd, a stone that could kill. So now, but the Gemara is still going to analyze what is the scenario. Hechidami. In what case would such a case not be considered murder that's punishable by death? So again, we learned in the Mishnah that even according to the rabbis, that if you kill an idol worshiper, not that you're allowed to kill an idol worshiper, but if you kill an idol worshiper, it's not considered, you don't get put to death by the Bezdin. The Bezdin is not going to put you to death. They'll punish you, whatever, but that's not worthy of the death penalty by the Bezdin. So now you throw a stone into a crowd. In the crowd is, if you're going to say that there was 9 idol worshippers and 1 Jew. So the chances, obviously, of killing a Jew are a minority, right? So that's what the pasuk is coming to teach us. Means, according to the rabbis, if you are to throw a rock into a room of 10 Jews, and there's no idol worshippers at all in the room, that even the rabbis would say you still get killed, because there's no way you're not going to kill a Jew. So it's no different than just saying I'm going to kill one of you too. It's 10 instead of 2. So the problem is that in the group, there's people that you're not considered obligated, you're not considered chayiv. You don't get put to death for killing them, right? Like we said, an animal or a child or a fetus that's not going to live, or an idol worshiper. So he said like this, the question is, how many idol worshippers are in the room? If you can say there's 9 and 1 Yisrael, so we don't need the verse. We could just say that the reason why you're not getting put to death is not because the verse has to tell us that, because we go after the majority. So the majority of the people that you could have hit are not considered Jewish. Therefore, it wouldn't be considered, you don't get, it's not considered a murder that gets killed by the Bezdin. So that you don't need a verse that teaches that, because there's the laws of rov, a majority. Whenever we have a majority and a minority, we go with the majority. So therefore, there's nowhere to apply the person's intention. Inami. So if you want to say palga, that it's 50-50. There's 5 idol worshippers and 5 Jews. So in such a case, still, we say we don't need the verse to teach us. Because even in 50-50, we have another rule that says Safek Nefashis Lahakil, that when it comes to putting someone to death with the death penalty of Bezdin, and Rashi adds the warning, it's a problem with the warning, because the warning is 50-50. 50-50 is a doubt. Just like if you meant to kill the animal and you kill the person, it's a doubtful warning. Here also, when the person says, "Don't throw the rock," you may kill a Jew. I may kill a Jew. I may not kill a Jew. It's not a sure warning. So therefore, Safek Nafish Lahakal. Okay, so then when it comes to death, to the life, to death penalty, we go according to leniency. So when is the case? Like tzricha, the ika teish Yisrael v'go yechad b'neihem. There is 9 Jews and 1 idol worshiper, and you throw the stone into the group of 9 Jews and 1 idol worshiper, and you kill a Jew. If you kill the idol worshiper, then of course you don't get put to death, but you kill a Jew. But here, you can't. The majority is Jews. You can't even say 50-50 because it's not 50-50. It's 90-10. Why that's not considered doubtful. I mean, it's probable that you're going to kill a Jew. So here we come to learn a law that's applied many times in Torah, not just in the case of murder. This is a law that says that anything that is stationary, they're all standing there. Anything that's stationary is considered 50-50, even if it's 90-10. For instance, and Rashi is going to say this is the rule this is the source of the rule in Torah, where based on the rabbis, because the rabbis are the majority, and the opinion is the rabbis, and they have the verse that teaches us that in the case where there's 9 Jews and 1 idol worshiper, and you hit a Jew, so theory you could say you hit someone from the majority, so it's not considered a doubtful warning. Nevertheless, it's considered a doubtful warning because anything stationary is 50-50. Where does this case come in other situations? If a person finds a piece of meat and you don't know what store you bought it from or what store it came from. So we have we have a lot of laws that later we learn in other Baba Basra, Baba Metzia, where kol kavua kamechsa mechsa. If it's coming from a stationary place, even if it's a minority, it's considered 50-50. And Rashi tells us in this sugya, in this Gemara, that this is the source of this law, that anything that's stationary, because they're all standing in the room, it's 50-50, even though it's not 50-50, it's 90-10. It says the hava akum kavua v'chol kavua kamechsa mechsa. That's the argument between Reb Shimon and the rabbis. Now we're going to use another verse like this. Let's see the Rashi here. Hold on. Okay, so the Rashi, I'm going to read that Rashi. The Rashi says, if anyone has the Rashi, Rashi says that it says, just in the beginning of the Rashi late Sricha, Vashmin and Kra, the pasuk is coming to teach us that Potter, that even if it's one idol worshiper and 9 Jews, Mishum Dahavelai Kuti, the idol worshiper is kavua, stationary amongst them. From this verse we learn the chol kavua loy pachas miliyos nidin kamechsa mechsa. Havasafik nachis lahaka. And therefore, because of it's stationary, therefore it's 50-50, and 50-50 we're doubtful, and we go according to the doubt. Now Rashi says, this is the source of all places that we have in Torah. Whenever the rule comes up, you're going to learn Baba Basra, you're going to learn other laws, that it's that when something's stationary, even if it's a minority, but if it's stationary, it's considered 50-50, means we don't consider it, we don't go after the majority, it's considered 50-50, and if it's 50-50, it's doubtful. The chol kavua kamechsa mechsa dami v'halik limelef minei kiruba the dami the mehecha teisi la dilma haide partele mishum sofin farslaka. And he says we're not going to go after over here that the case is that we go as far as saying it's a majority, but it's considered 50-50, and because of 50-50, then it's considered doubtful, and if it's doubtful, it's a doubtful warning. Okay. So now we're going to have to bring up another verse. We have another verse I want to bring up. We learned those who learned Chumash have this verse in Shemais. It's said like this. The verse teaches us in Shemais. Now we're going to ask a question based on this verse. So I'm just going to read the verse first. The verse says, two people are fighting, and one of them pushes a pregnant woman, and she miscarries. You strike the woman. 2 people are fighting, and you strike the woman, and the woman's pregnant, and she miscarries because of the strike. But no other damage happens. It means there's a miscarriage. The woman herself isn't killed. Is onish, the person gets punished. So he gets fined, and he takes out a payment based on, they make a reckoning, they make a calculation how much the woman what's the damages considered. I'm not going to go into the calculation, but Rashi explains over there the calculation they do is the typical calculation that the Torah does when they try to evaluate a loss. Like when you evaluate someone, if you cut off someone's hand. So the Torah says a hand for a hand, but we know it doesn't mean you cut off the other person's hand. You pay the value of the hand. So they have a way, the Torah has a mechanism of figuring out what is the value of something. So here you figured out, you strike the woman, and there's a miscarriage. So a miscarriage is not murder in this case because the baby hasn't been born yet. We learned that already earlier in maybe a year or so ago. So we're gonna just skip that part of the conversation. But there's damages, so he pays for damages. However, what happens? But this is the verse. What happens if there is a tragedy, and it's not, and someone dies? So then the Torah says you have to give a life for a life. The question is, what does it mean you have to give for life for life? The problem is that if according to the rabbis, that's okay. It makes sense. You intended to kill A, you missed A, and you hit his wife, and you killed his wife. So that's the mission. The mission says if you meant to kill A and you killed B, that's murder and you get killed, right? So over here, also you meant to kill the husband, you killed the wife. Fine, so that's murder. So the rabbis, the verse makes sense. So the Gemara says, I understand the Rabbanan, the Amr Niskav, the Haragesev, Chayiv. If you meant to kill A and you kill B, that's considered murder and you get put to death. That's what it says. The Chsiv, it says in the verse, two people are fighting, but not for Isha Har, and you hit a pregnant woman. So for Amr Rebbe Elazar says, with mitzvahs, Shemisa Kasim Medaber, talking about a case where the person was killed. The Chsivim Asim, and if there's a murder, Yev V'Nesat Nefesh Nefesh. And that's why you have to pay with your life if you kill the woman. But according to Reb Shimon, who says that if you intend to kill A and you kill B, so if you intended to kill the husband, you kill the wife. So how does he learn the verse? The verse says clearly it's a soul for a soul. What is he going to do? Clearly, the Torah says if you meant to strike the husband, you strike the wife and you kill her. If you don't kill her, then there's damages. But if you kill her, so you have to pay with your life, and that's not according to the opinion of Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon says that only if you meant to kill A and you kill A, but if you meant to kill A and you kill B, it's not considered murder that you get put to death for that. So Reb Shimon, according to Reb Shimon, what is he going to do with it? So he says mammon. But even Reb Shimon says it doesn't mean that you kill the murderer, but you pay her family, her husband, her family, the damages of the murder, what her value is. Kedatanya, Kedarebi, like Rebbe says, the Tanya, Rebbe Omer, Rebbe says, V'nesata nefesh tachas nefesh mamin, ata Omer mamin oyeni ela nefesh mamish. Maybe it means Rebbe says, what does it mean to give a soul for a soul? Just like the next verse 24 in chapter 21 in Shmos. It says eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, hand for a hand, and foot for a foot. It doesn't mean that you cut off the hand, the eye, or the foot, but it means the damage is the value of it. So too, the soul is the value. It means even if you according to Reb Shimon, if you intend to kill the husband, you kill the wife. So that's not, you don't get killed for that. So what does it mean? You give a life for a life. You have to pay the value of a woman's life. What's that worth? However, they figure out the value of that. Rashi says, what's mammon? I'm not sure how you figure out the value of a woman's life. In a hand, I can understand. Because a hand, the rabbis say, it's brought down in Rashi, doesn't say how you would evaluate the value of that. Because when it comes to hand, it says, let's say someone came over to you. It's a crazy case, but let's say someone came over to you. And so there's two ways. One is how much are you willing to take? How much would you accept payment if someone said, let's say your tooth, let's make it easy, right? If someone said, I want to pull your tooth out, how much would it cost me to pull your tooth out? The person says, if you give me $10,000, you can pull my tooth out, right? So then you know the value of pulling out a tooth. If you knock out someone's tooth, is $10,000. Or in the case of a servant, right? If you have a servant and you say, this servant lacking a tooth, what's his value? With a tooth or without a tooth? So that's not exactly the same amount of money, but there's different ways to evaluate the value of a body part. But I'm not exactly sure how you evaluate the value of a life. I mean, what's the value of a life? I mean, how could you put a price target on a life? But either way, that's what Rebbe says. The Rebbe, Tanya Rebbe says, nefesh tachas nefesh, mammon tachas mammon, nefesh tachas, Rebbe Omer, nesat nefesh tachas nefesh mammon, it's money, monetary. Ata Omer mammon, that you have to pay the value of the woman, not her death. Ayeni ella nefesh mamash, you have to get put to death, like the rabbis would say. Nemer of so he says no, because it says Nemer nesina lamata, or Nemer nesina lamaila. It says about when you pay for the fetus that you have to give, and it says afterwards by the killing, if there's a tragedy, it also says you give a life to life. What does it mean you give a life to life? It should say you get killed. What do it mean you give a life for life? So the word nasina, to give, malahal and mammon, just like when you kill the fetus, everyone agrees you don't get put to death, you have to pay monetary fine. Afkar mammon is also mammon. Okay, we're just going to finish till the Mishnah, and then we're going to stop this sugya. Any questions we'll ask in a second. I'm going to ask you, Shuki, if you're looking at any commentaries, does it say over there any way how you evaluate the money on a death? Right. If you have something,
I don't see anything in commentary that I have over here. I mean, there's a few random comments here and there that I've picked up over the years that I think from learning this in the past, where it has to do with like what the person's profession was and what they like. Did you cause them a certain expected loss over a certain number of years and things like that? But it's not. I think it was kind of like up to the based in generation by generation.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's not the opinion. Thank you, Shuk. It's not the opinion of the rabbis, and it's not the law, but it is the opinion of Reb Shimon. So you must have a way to value that. Now we're going to learn a third opinion. Rava introduces now a third opinion. So until now we have two opinions. The opinion of the rabbis that says that unintentional murder, if it's lacking any of the components, it doesn't have the strength, the blow doesn't have the strength to kill, it's not meant to kill this person, if it hit this part of the body, all those things, the rabbis say it's not considered murder. But if you meant to kill someone and you did kill someone, just you didn't kill the person you meant to kill, but the person was an adult and all that, the rabbis say that's considered murder and you get put to death for that. Reb Shimon argues. Reb Shimon says he learns from the verse that says that you have to actually have intention to kill the person you kill. So now we're introducing a third case. Amarava means not a third case in opinion, but a third case in the law. So according to Reb Shimon, you would pay monetary responsibility. And according to the rabbis, you'd get put to death. It means if you strike, you meant to strike the husband, you strike the wife, and you kill the wife, and you meant to kill the husband. So it was a strike that could kill someone, and you meant to kill someone, and you just killed the wrong person. So Reb Shimon says you don't get put to death, but the verse comes to teach us you have a monetary responsibility. You have to pay the money of the value of the wife. The rabbis say no, you get put to death for killing the wife. Now comes a problem. The problem is that we don't pay monetary payments in the case of a murder question. Which means there's a law I think in English you call it double jeopardy, but it's not really double jeopardy. It's called kamle b'derabba minei. The words kamle b'derabba minei means that we go with the rabba minei, the larger one. So if someone for instance desecrates the Shabbos, which with warning and all, which is a death penalty, you get put in the times of the Bezdin. If someone desecrated the Shabbos with warning, you would be put to death. Right, like we learned a case last week of the kosher sheitzin, the person who cut wood on Shabbos. Now, what happens if while you did it, you damage someone's property? It means the way you desecrated the Shabbos was you damaged someone's property. So hypothetically, you have two things. One is a monetary responsibility, and the second one is going to be put to death. Does your estate have to pay the monetary responsibility because you damaged someone's good while you desecrated the Shabbos and you get put to death? So the law is no. You can't get to both what's called smaller, which is monetary, smaller than death. If you're getting put to death, then all games are off. It means anything else, if you damage someone's property while doing something that's death penalty worthy, so then there's no monetary responsibility. But there's even a catch to that, and the catch is that even if you don't get put to death actually, because there's a technicality in what you've done that the Bezdin can't put you to death, you still have no monetary responsibility. Okay, so that's the opinion of Reb Chizkiah. Amar Rava says, "Hi, the Tana Devei Chizkiah." We learned in the Yeshiva of Chizkiah. Mafka midirabi or mafka midrabanan. It doesn't go according to Rebbe. It doesn't go according to the Rabbanan either. So Rashi says, why? Because according to the rabbis, if you meant to kill the husband, you kill the wife, you get put to death. According to Rebbe, if you meant to kill the husband and you kill the wife, you have a monetary responsibility. According to Chizkiah, you don't get killed and you don't have to pay money. Why? The Tanya, Somer Rav Rov says, "Had the Tanya of the Vei Chizkiya." This is what we learned in the Yeshiva of Chizkiya. Mafka mit the Rabbi, mafka the Rabbanan. It doesn't go according to the Rabbi, and doesn't go according to the Rabbanan. Let's see, what is it? What did we learn? The Tanya of the Vei Chizkiya. We learned in the Yeshiva of Chizkiya. Mak Adam u'Maka Behema. That there's a verse that says like this. The verse compares, like the verse in Vayikra says, "Maka behema yishamena, maka adam yumas." The verse in Vayikra says, if you kill an animal, you pay damages. If you kill a person, you get killed. Right? You don't get killed for killing an animal, but you don't get, and you kill a person with all warnings and all, you get put to death. So the Yeshiva of Chizkiya learned like this: that the verse says, "Maka behema maka." That the law is, if you kill by mistake someone's animal, you can't say, "Well, I didn't mean to kill the guy's animal." They say, "Fine, you didn't mean to kill the guy's animal, but you have to pay for it." You can't say I didn't have the intention to kill someone's animal. If you damage someone's property, you have to pay for it. Whether it's shogeg, whether it's mazid, whether you didn't mean it, it was intentionally or unintentionally. Whether you meant it, you didn't mean it. Whether it was while there's different laws. If you hit something while it's coming down, if you hit it coming up, doesn't make a difference. If you hit it and killed it while it was going up, the poiter moment doesn't make a difference. Whether it is to there's no way to he says the poiter moment and l'chayv moment doesn't make a difference whether there's no you don't get off monetarily. You have to pay if you damage someone's animal and you kill it. You have to pay for it. So just like in the potri moment, you don't get off. You have to pay the money. So too, so to a person. If you kill a person, so here he says that the fact that he put together the two verses together comes to teach us like this: that it says that if you kill an animal, you have to pay. When do you have to pay? Any scenario. You kill someone's animal, you have to pay for it. And then it says if you kill a person, you get put to death. In what scenario are they different? They're different in every scenario. So just because technically, if you didn't intend to kill the person, or you killed the person you had no intention to kill, you don't get put to death, all monetary costs go off. Means that what Reb Chizkiya says is that we divide humans from animals, or property to humans. Property you always pay, and by humans you never pay. That's it. You never pay for humans. And the case of the pregnant woman, we'll have to see. But he says, and you don't have to pay money, and you're not obligated to pay money. See, Rashi talks about the case of our pasuk.
All right. I pulled up some old notes, and I don't remember all of the terminology that's in that page, but I have a reference to Bava Kama 84b. That's looking at my whole yeshiva notes in here, and that's the section where it talks about monetary damages for oxes, and then there's two sections where the Gemara goes into a case where it says, what about if a human does harm to a human? But it doesn't go into detail. It just mentions that monetary loss needs to be calculated. And then the other section is about how you account for monetary loss in cases of innocuous acts or uncommon acts like rape or trampling or things like that. And so that whole page is about how they do like the different categorizations, but not necessarily anywhere about like how they would actually get to like mamana, like an actual like monetary value from anything. Obviously, it's timeless.
How do you get the value? Yeah. So the question is, I just have to try to figure out what is nefesh tachas nefesh according to. I guess like this. I guess the basically what Chizkiya is saying is, I think Chizkiya would agree with the rabbis that if you meant to kill the husband, you kill the wife, you get put to death. But anything else that you meant to kill A and you don't, and you didn't kill A and you killed B, and it was lacking, then in such a case, there's never a case of monetary responsibility. That's what Chizkiya is coming to teach us. It means Reb Shimon holds if you meant to kill the husband, you kill the wife, so you don't get, it's not niskaven, so therefore you don't have to pay, and therefore you have to pay money. According to that, that's what Rebbe and Reb Shimon hold. According to the rabbis, you get put to death. Chizkiya comes to say that even if there's a scenario that you don't get put to death technically, you never pay money. Unless it's a case of money from the beginning. Like if you strike a woman and she's pregnant, that's never a case of murder because no one was murdered. It was just a miscarriage. A miscarriage is not considered murdered, then you pay the money. But if you in the case where you kill the woman, according to Chizkiya, you get put to death. So therefore, all the verses work out, and all the other parts of the verses are only talking about monetary loss. You didn't kill anyone. You cut their hand off. You took out their eye. You took out their tooth. So he says like this. So now the Gemara finished out. Ma she'enim miskaven. What does it mean that you had no intention? Ilay ma she'enim miskaven klal, you never meant to kill. Then that's a shogig. That's unintentional. Alapshita she'enim miskaven lazeh lazeh. And no, it means that you meant to kill someone, you just didn't kill the right person. V'ktani l'chayiv mammon, el l'pater mammon. That you don't have to pay money. You're not obligated to pay money. V'bar katlu ma yitzlechem mifter mammon elav shmamina lav bar katlu v'lav bar memaynehu. So from here we learn that Reb Shimon, so the Gemara, so Rabbi says like this: according to the Yeshiva of Chizkiya, what is the scenario that you kill someone unintentionally, that there's no monetary responsibility? If you didn't mean to kill anyone, that's already under the classification of unintentional. So it means that you meant to kill someone, just killed the wrong person, but you don't get put to death. Then if you get put to death, then of course there's no monetary responsibility because everyone agrees when you get put to death, you don't have to pay also. The question is, when you don't get put to death, but you should be put to death, do you have to pay money? So in this case is that you meant to kill someone, you did kill someone, you killed the wrong person. So you don't get put to death because he agrees with Reb Shimon, you don't get put to death. But you still don't have to pay money. Like Reb Shimon says, you do have to pay money because anything that's connected to murder, it takes off the obligation of monetary responsibility. So the only question we have left is, how does Reb Chizkiya learn the pasuk nefesh tachas nefesh? Doesn't say. I have to check that up. Maybe nefesh tachas nefesh means that you should be killed, but you don't get killed because you weren't miskaven. All right, I have to check it up. But basically, according to Chizkiya, you wouldn't pay money, you wouldn't get put to death. He agrees with Reb Shimon that you have to intend to kill the person that you killed. He disagrees with Reb Shimon that if you do that, you have to pay monetary responsibility. According to Reb Shimon, you would have to pay monetary responsibility. He learns that from the verse nefesh tachas nefesh that you have to pay money, or in Rebbe, and according to Chizkiya, you don't get put to death because he agrees that's not considered intentional, but because it's under the auspices of murder, it nullifies any kind of monetary responsibility. I just want to see hold on, guys. I just want to see if Rashi brings that question up. It's strange. Rashi would have mentioned that. I must be missing something. And how Reb Shimon would how Chizkiya would learn the verse nefesh tachas nefesh. All right, I have to check that up, guys. All right, otherwise, Laila Tov, we finished the Mishnah. This is not easy Gemara, but we got the laws of intention, the argument between Reb Shimon and the rabbis. Reb Shimon holds that you only considered a murderer according to the Torah that gets put to death if you kill the person you intended to kill, even if you meant to kill and you had a blow that can kill. It's not considered, you don't get put to death if it's not the intended person. The rabbis disagree with that. And when it comes to the verse about striking the woman, the rabbis understand the verse to mean that you get put to death for that because you killed a woman and you meant to kill someone. According to Reb Shimon, it means you pay monetary responsibility. And the final part of the Gemara says that Chizkiya would say that even in such a case, you meant to kill A and you killed B, so you meant to murder, but you just didn't murder the right person. You don't get put to death, and you don't have to pay monetary responsibility because it says if you be put to death, of course you don't have to pay monetary responsibility. And if it's just you had no intention to kill, so then it's not considered that's a shogig. That's a person just didn't mean to kill. So here we see that Chizkiya holds that even if you intended to kill, but you killed the wrong person, you don't get put to death, but it still nullifies any monetary responsibility. The only question that we have is that I have to figure out is what does he do with the verse that clearly says life for a life. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Laila Tov, take care. And if I get the answer, I will post it on the chat. Laila Tov, take care.